uh, you can see here the according to the four copy of the three copy is very similar to with each other, like A09, C04 and C08. The copy is very similar with each other, but the A04 has a different gene structure, so is treated is a different separately into these studies. So after the construction of vector, then we need to do the transformation by agrobacterium method, which our lab has developed recently by Young et al. So after the transformation, you can see first of all we need to sow the seed. After that, the cutting the cotyledon, and then different stages to the. This almost take almost 3 to 4 months to obtain the transgenic plant. So after the transformation, we have developed the 81 independent lines of the out of the 81, the 67 is the transgenic plant. It means the T0 line carry tDNA insertion, and the remaining one is the wild type. So this is the efficiency of the our uh, vector. Then after getting the tDNA lines, we need to screen either this plant is mutant or not. But the tDNA zero line means cassette Cas9 is into the plant, but it is not sure it is the cassette Cas9 will work in that plant or not. So we need to screening the mutation screening. So we have choose two methods, which I have already described. One is the conventional method. You can see here is wild type, it is showing the band this, but this plant is mutant, a different band, so it means this plant will be mutant, but it is not sure this plant is one how much deletion, but this plant can show the indel mutation it's we can rely that this plant should be different from the wild type. So we will choose a Hytom method to confirm either this plant is how much percentage is homologous and how much percentage is heterozygous. Before Hytom, the people say directly rely on the direct sequencing like NGS sequencing and different things. But these just you can see is not so reliable with the CRISPR-Cas9, but the Hytom is very reliable for this. So for the Hytom, first we need to design the specific primer, which I have already described between the targets. And the applicon should be the 150 to 250 base pair, because Hytom will not get the sequence, will not read the sequencing at the large base pair. So we need to design the primer between the sequencing within the 150 to 250 base pair, and the primer sequencing length 20 to 20 20 to 80 base pair. After this, we did the Hytom. Then we observed the 43 out of 67 tDNA lines were examined. The more than half is the heterozygous, and 8 is the chimeric mutation, and 10 is like the homozygous mutation. What is mean? You can see here this plant is 4 copies. You can see the quartable mutant plant. It means the 4 copies deleted from this plant. Uh, is a you can see here the sorry four quartable mutant homozygous plant, and we have also observed the triple homozygous means the 3 copies deleted. We have also observed the double mutant homozygous plant. It means the 2 copies deleted. We have also observed the single homozygous plants from this T0 line. After this, we need to do the into different direction to develop a tDNA free element, which we can be used commercially for breeding. So we will grow the T1 lines, and you can see here that this plant is for homozygous mutant plant. We only choose the quartable mutant plant for segregation and some different mutation, like you can see here. Here we choose according to the genotype, different genotype, and check the mutation and segregation rate in this. So these two plants is for quartable mutant homozygous plant. After this, we have also observed the transgenic element rate in T1 and T2 generation. When we saw the average, saw the T0 plant to get the T1 generation and observe the transmission rate is 63.85. And when we get the T1 generation, we have almost choose from one mutant plant to almost grow T1 lines, almost 10 plant or each or 7 like this. So from the T1 plant to T2 generation, the generation rate was transmission rate was 65.77%. So here you can see also we have observed the how many plants is the tDNA free plant which can be used for a commercially for breeding in different region. So this is a stable example of the stable transmission, like T0, T1, T2, the same mutation type in T0 generation, T1 generation, and T generation. So it means this is a stable homozygous mutant plant, and the mutation was is also stable between for from T0 to T2. So after that, the CRISPR has a drawback. It's also have a off target effect. For this purpose, we will also test the off target effect. Either maybe the CRISPR Cas9 will also delete some off target things like the different type of phenotype. But we have observed our vector is work properly, and there will be no off target effect between these targets. After that, we have observed the sgRNA efficiency with different promoter according to previously work done in our lab. Like we have see, you can see here ATU3D promoter have a greater efficiency in all the paper published in our lab, and that this we can see if you design the target on this promoter. So this promoter will work efficiently and targeted more plant rather than promoter. So this is also a very interesting study. We have also determined the exact promoter for editing. You can see here the 6730 plant in here, but this promoter is only zero efficiency with in rapeseed. You can see here the previous study is also showing that this promoter is also. So we can conclude that this promoter is best for the efficiency of the CRISPR-Cas9 on this target. So after that, so we have observed the phenotypic analysis. Either when we knock out the single, double, and triple quadruple mutant plant, what is the phenotypic observation in this mutant type? So we have choose two environment. One is Guangzhou province, which is the short photo period, and one is the Hubei province, which is the largest photo period. But we have compared the wild type with the mutant type, and we have observed when we saw the mutant type in Guangzhou province. You can see here the homozygous line was, this is, I am talking about the quadruple mutant plant. The homozygous line was the 51.4 days. We have got the flowering. Either the wild type is 86 days in Guangzhou province. When this plant we have grow in Hubei province almost take from sowing to flowering almost take 6 to 7 months. But when we knock out the four homologous copy, we have observed that the homozygous line was flowering in 71 days. And you can see this is the same date, same plant age. This is the wild type plant, and this is the homozygous quadruple mutant plant, and the plant ages will be same. You can see the after the knockout of this plant, this is also the boost up the height and the flowering everything by this. So this is our phenotypic observation. So we have also compared our study with different study which is have previously done with different. So we have observed that have some related study and some opposite study. If we knock out this four copy, so the Hartman and Chung et al, we have similar study, the sphere early flowering after the successfully knock out these of four copy. But we have different in with the Lee et al and Pori et al. So this plant is early flowering, but it's the number of leaves is higher than wild type. But we have early flowering, but the high number of leaves is higher than in mutant type than the wild type. This is our opposite study. So we need to check the mechanism behind these studies. So the conclusion of this review is it was observed that the CRISPR-Cas9 system has efficiently able to knock out the four homologous copy of Brassica napus to develop an early flowering plant in Brassica napus. After that, we have also observed the heritable mutant plant developed in four copies of Brassica napus with different mutants with constant mutation transmission from T0, T1 to T2 generation. And study have examined the phenotype of each copy of BNA SVP, including days to first flower, leaf number, plant height, and some different phenotypic analysis that evidences show the early flowering compared to wild type plants. So proceeding work, this work we have done already, but this work is we have done, but this is only on under, you can see the result analysis. We have did all these things from of this analysis flowering locus LC by choosing different protocol of different labs. So this will be also very interesting, get the phenotypic or mutant type. You can see this is the wild type, and here is the mutant plant, different mutant plants showing is a mutant plant. We have also did the gene type, but here is some complexity. The SVP is only 4 target, but this copy has 9 copies in Brassica napus. So this is a very complex to knock out all 9 copies FLC from a Brassica napus. If we successfully knock out for all these copies, then we can get a very good result and very different result varying according to the flowering time. So this is just we have did, but the result is just under analysis. We have also did the FIR gene. This we have also did. No, this is also in under construction. So how this mechanism will be go to the future prospects. Future prospects can be carried out in the following step. It is expected that in near future that the molecular mechanism behind the previous finding undefined flowering pathway will be released. Maybe some other pathways also involving to control the flowering gene, flowering rapeseed. Furthermore, other additional signaling molecule in flowering pathway will be also discovered. The development of new technique to boost the flowering time in rapeseed as well as other crops. Similarly, genetic and environmental parameter enable the researcher to establish the speed protocol in several oilseed crops such as rapeseed, cabbage, and different types of crops. So what is the new idea? What is my thinking to involve the speed breeding in rapeseed with the CRISPR-Cas9? So you can see the growth stage is under normal condition. We have first week to 20 to 24 week, we get the harvesting, but with the speed breeding, we have get in 60 to 80 days. But how we involve this speed breeding with CRISPR-Cas9, if we we did the agrobacterium transformation, it will take from 0 day to three almost 2 to 3 months to get stable plant. If we grow the callus induction under speed breeding, we can get within 30 days the plants. So then we will go through with these plant under speed breeding. Then we can get the T0 plant within the 80 days. Then we will grow T1 also in under speed breeding. And so though this is the objective to get the tDNA free plants within the year, rather than we need to wait for 2 years. Like one in Wuhan is only generation time per year or only one. So rather than we need to wait the growing period, we can grow the under speed breeding, the transgenic mutant plant under speed breeding to get the tDNA free transgenic plant for the commercially breeding. And also we can choose this plant to get the crossing and the selfing under speed breeding to get maybe you can say to develop a variety with crossing under speed breeding to get a 3 to 4 generation within the year, rather than we need to wait the whole year to get the next generation. So this is all my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sunny. Very well. Can you say muchas gracias?
Muchas gracias. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we will proceed now, Sunny, with a round of possible questions or comments about your seminar, okay? And in Spanish, maybe, Sunny, okay?
In Spanish.
But you can answer in English, okay?
Okay.
Does anyone have any comments or questions? ¿Hay preguntas, comentarios? Por favor, pueden también utilizar el chat